How important is it for people to build up their anti-racist practices within the workplace?
I think something we have to acknowledge is that the global majority is not white, and that by 2050, the majority of the population in the United States will not be white. So we have to think about how we built this country and the practices and the white supremacy culture that still exists, and we have to work against it and unlearn it. And so I think that's really important. So anti-racism practices now are super important for us as a country moving forward. So that's important for all of us to do this work for our workplaces and for our society in general.
Yeah.
And I would add to that, beyond the workplace, these are really important concepts for people to be understanding in general so that they can carry them, whether you're in the workplace, whether you're in your, volunteering on the weekends, what have you. These are just general human skills that people need to have.
And we live in a society that was founded on white supremacy, and that makes it really easy to bring different characteristics of white supremacy into our everyday lives. And so one of the things that we really need to focus on as a people and as individuals who are doing this work of unlearning is to think about how we can acknowledge the privileges that we have. Me as a white man working in this space where we are doing anti-racist work, it requires me to acknowledge my privilege, and that's also something that we ask participants in our workshop to do as well, because that is one of the barriers to really, not fully grasping the concepts that we're bringing forth in this workshop and in our workshops in general. So that's going to be something that, as someone who's looking into these learning opportunities, be ready to acknowledge the privileges that you have.
Let's talk a little bit about how you all get other people to do the things that you're talking about. Like, what type of space do you all create for learning?
We try to create a space that is comfortable and challenging at the same time. And we encourage people, you're going to feel uncomfortable. We want you to understand that, get comfortable with being uncomfortable, but we're going to create a container that is safe enough for you to do that. So be prepared for challenges, be prepared, because learning can't happen without a little bit of cognitive dissonance, without a little bit of that rubbing against the grain. That has to happen for the brain to acquire new information. But we try to make the place where that happens a place where people want to come back to,
I think we want our workshops to be honest conversations. We want to have honest conversations. And I think we try to emulate that ourselves, and within the team, we have those honest conversations so that we can then have them during our workshops. I think of our team is led by Black and brown women, and that I think has made a difference into how we're always trying to learn ourselves, and we're uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. Again, the history of this country, the history we've learned in school every single day, everything that we've done, we're uncomfortable sometimes too. Yeah. But we are embracing the discomfort, and we are trying to have these honest conversations through our workshops with everyone else, and telling people, hey, we start kind of by saying, we're a little uncomfortable too. You're gonna be a little uncomfortable, but dive into the discomfort and you'll make it through. And hopefully you'll be a better person on the other end.
Absolutely.
Are there certain tools that you all provide, during the workshops, but also tools that folks can leave with?
Absolutely. For the learning to happen outside of the space, they definitely need something they can take with them to put their hands on. So we have things like cheat sheets. We have, specific processes that we offer to people so that they can take that and actually practice it in their, places of business, places of work. For some things that we do, we tell them, bring your own things in, bring your own work in, and we'll work on it during that time together, where we can guide you so that you can build up some muscle memory there, already working on the things that are your business to be working on, and continue that when you leave us. So those practical ways of using the content are intentionally built into our curriculum.
And I would add to that you're also taking the experience with you.
Yes.
I would say our workshops are definitely an experience, and we're building them out that way. And you take it with you. You take what you learned with you. Even if, yes, you're getting workshops and you're getting some other stuff to go with it, but you're taking the experience with you. I did one of our workshops a very old iteration of it, when I actually wasn't part of the team. And I remember walking out of the room and saying, whoa, like, what kind of harm have I already done with the language I've used? What kind of, like, and I had to tell everyone that I saw about it. I went back to my organization and I said, hey, what words are we using? And how are we using them? We need to talk about this. We need to change the way we're approaching this. And I think, I remember walking out of there with a bunch of people and just everyone being like, in some ways a little bit shocked and like, is the right word? Is it concerned about what we'd already done?
Yeah.
And uncomfortable. You know what? We were uncomfortable
Right.
with how we had used language previously.
Yeah.
And so it was uncomfortable to go through that workshop and then walk out and be like, what words have I been using?
Mm-hmm.
And how have I been using them? And how have I been treating people with the language I've been using? And so walking out of there, we all, I think, served as ambassadors of the workshop at that point. And we just, I can speak for myself, I guess. I walked around and everyone I could think of, I was telling, hey, that's not a word we should be using. Hey, that's not how we should be describing people. Hey, that's not how data should be used. And so I think that's what we're also giving you.
Yeah.
When you take one of our workshops, you walk out with a whole experience and with a whole new lens in how you look at things.
And those connections that you make with the other people that are in the workshop that you take, but also if you have colleagues that are joining you in the workshop experience, that only adds to it because you're able to bring the tools that are both practical tools, but then also just a new framework back to your work, and you're able to have multiple people who are ambassadors for the work, and you're able to tackle the problems, and you're not the only one that is working towards it. You have a team of people who are also committed to the work as well.